What would you do if your online store converted 36% more shoppers? You could take 36% more vacation.
Another pina colada?
Yes, please.
Open a new retail location with 36% more square feet.
Fantastic.
Hire 36% more help.
You're hired and you're hired.
Shopify has the world's best converting checkout, up to 36% better than other e-commerce platforms. What you do with those extra sales is up to you. Switch to Shopify today at shopify.com/listen and get a $1 trial. Shopify.com/listen.
10 o'clock, welcome in. We are live at Social Taco here in Homewood, right next to City Hall in the Square. We're going to broadcast until 2 o'clock. Landrum Roberts, Pat Smith, Motley Robinson, and Conrad Van Order. Hope everyone is doing well on this Tuesday. Let's go ahead and address the white elephant in the room that is United States men's national team. Last night, falling to Belgium 4-1, and it felt like to me, just as a fan, a viewer, Pat, that this one was over right about the time that it got started. Under the 10-minute mark, we didn't look like we were engaged. Everybody seemed to play below the level they've been playing. I realize Belgium is a better team, but costly mistakes, defensive miscues, and Belgium punched us in the mouth, and we never got up.
Yeah, the first 45, it was just sloppy. It was unfocused. They were defensive. They weren't taking the fight to Belgium, in my opinion. The U.S. allowed 11 shots in the first half against Belgium. They allowed a total of 10 shots in the first half against everybody else in the World Cup. And then you gave up 11 shots in the first half in one game to Belgium. So, to me, it's just like Belgium, they set the tone, and they took it to us. And then I really thought when Tillman got the penalty kick.
Yeah.
But what were we up? It was number of seconds, right?
Yeah, it was
before Belgium came back and took
61.
the lead for good.
The
61
instant
seconds,
answer
yeah.
score, so it negated. It took the Seattle crowd, mitigated what that crowd was, and could have been there early with the energy. But look, I'm still proud of this United States men's national team. They fell short of maybe where we hoped that they would be, but bottom line is we've been saying it since I was a kid. We got to keep pushing forward and trying to get better, and maybe we can get further next time.
Well, it's disappointing. I mean, it's a major missed opportunity with all the circumstances that were in your favor. This was an unprecedented opportunity for the U.S. men's national team, for these American players, and for the sport in our country, and they squandered it. They flunked the biggest test of their life last night in a discussion. And like you, I've heard this for the majority of my life, how soccer is about to turn the corner, we're going to get over the hump, and it just didn't happen. And the way that it happened last night, I think that was more shocking. If they would have lost 2-1, I think a lot of people would have walked away going, you know what, this last month has been magical, it's been incredible, you know what, the future looks really bright. But now, being on that stage against a top 10 team, we're not talking about one of the top 4, we're talking about number 9 in the FIFA rankings, and go and you throw up on yourself like that, highly disappointing.
Yeah, it looked like we didn't believe that we belonged. And you wonder about the psychology going into this game or this match yesterday with all of the flow talk. And is he going to play? Is he not going to play? Belgium, if they didn't already have enough incentive, they certainly had incentive last night, and they were playing like they wanted to come out and they wanted to make a point. And you saw that in some of the post-game celebrations. That was on their mind the entire 90-plus minutes.
You know, and I think it was just the opposite for the United States. I don't think Balogun being available for Team USA, I think Team USA had been preparing the whole time that he wasn't going to play.
Right.
And so when he was awarded the opportunity to play, I think the Americans took it in stride because they had prepared not to have him. But meanwhile, Belgium took the opportunity to do the Trump dance and take to social media and all that kind of stuff. I want to remind Belgium that if it was not for us, they'd be speaking German all the time if it had not been for us in World War II. So tread lightly on how you want to attack the United States. Just do not forget that, being a student of history,
yes,
of how important the U.S. Airborne was to help freeing that country from the Nazis. Just wanted to point that out.
No, I'm glad you did. That's really good.
Yeah,
Belgium, enjoy your win.
Yeah.
You get what, Spain next?
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Yeah, have fun with Spain.
Yeah. So, yeah, another disappointing round of 16 for the U.S. men's national team. But I do have good news. and this is the good news. We are 351 days away from the Women's World Cup in Brazil.
Hey.
And a reminder that the United States, we have won four Women's World Cup championships.
Is that Dansby's wife? Is she a part of the team still?
I don't know.
Okay.
She was a very valuable member of that team last time I watched the women's team. But, yeah, we're 351 days away. It will be in Brazil, and it will be over June and July. So it will be before football season next. So we'll get to
USWNT. Yeah, Mallory Swanson. She is on the team.
She's still on the roster.
Yeah.
351. We're going to start that clock.
Mm-hmm.
Send it to Boy Sky.
But needless to say, folks have taken the opportunity, whether it was the New York Post, their headline this morning was Uncle Scram, U.S. given boot by Belgium in the ugly end to Cup. That was their headline. L.A. Times, they had a headline, Trump's World Cup meddling only made matters worse for rattled U.S. squad.
So now it's his fault.
The Philadelphia Inquirer, the United States men's national team lived down to Donald Trump's expectations. They played like the losers he thought they were. Wall Street Journal, Donald Trump, World Cup referee. London Telegraph, Trump and Infantino have poisoned a wonderful World Cup. So there's a couple of the headlines from around the world in regards to the U.S. losing last night and taking an opportunity to slam Donald Trump.
Well, it all goes back to we need better officiating, and none of this happens. So get it right the first time, guys.
Well, if the SEC officiating headquarters in downtown Birmingham would have been in charge of the FIFA,
none of this happens.
No, we would not have that. So Mike Griffith joins us now from the AJC. Mike, I guess we can put away our United States men's national team paraphernalia, I guess, for another 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, I guess so. There's still a lot of good soccer to be played, but it's kind of a disappointing run. But that's how soccer goes. All it takes is one bad game and you're out.
We were talking about it yesterday on the show, and real quick before we get into it, United States women's team, that would be the equivalent to like Oklahoma softball or name another champion that has built a dynasty. I think now U.S. men's soccer, if I was going to have the college football equivalent, I think it would be Texas A&M.
Wow.
Do you guys agree with that?
A lot. Well, I don't know. I mean, I watch England and I see all those Premier League players, and the best athletes play soccer in other countries and other continents, and that's just not the case in the U.S. I mean, just imagine if you were going to put together a dream team of athletes from the U.S. from all the professional sport. I mean, can you imagine like LeBron James in his prime playing soccer? If he was, if that was where the money was at. Actually, if you look at soccer salaries, they do make a lot of money.
Yeah.
I mean, if someone wants to make a lot of money, they just not in the United States. So it's interesting. Not to say that I don't think they had good enough athletes to win, but I just, I just compare it to England and I see how many professional players they have. They're playing in the Premier Leagues, if not the Premier League. And it just looks kind of like a mismatch, right? Like you're seeing like the equivalent of minor league players compared to some of the other countries you're playing against.
Well, it's interesting, Mike, because FIFA had the United States ranked 16th in the world, and they got to the final 16 before they got bounced out. So at least, unlike the college football playoff rankings, it looks like FIFA does a pretty good job with their rankings.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I don't know how that whole deal was seeded. I don't know enough about, global soccer, to say. I didn't, I thought the U.S. team, obviously they, had a strong run, but I don't know, just watching it just didn't look like the same level of soccer that I saw from some of the other. I mean, I just compared it to England, right? I mean, if you just watched England play and you saw how much talent they have and just wave after wave of professional player going in there, wearing out opponents, it just felt like that was a different level of soccer to me. Do you guys think I'm wrong about that, or am I missing something, or are my eyes telling me the truth there?
No, you're seeing the same thing we're seeing.
No, and last night it was really magnified with Belgium and just things as a novice soccer fan that I was able to pick up. Just things looked really, really easy for them when they were passing and they were getting in the flow of their offense, as opposed to the United States where they looked like it gave them a lot of trouble at times.
Yeah, it's tough, So, I don't want to diss, the U.S. team or anything like that. It is what it is. Like you guys said, they got to the round of 16, and it's just not a priority sport for us at the professional level in this country, or even the collegiate level. I guess, if the SEC gets serious about soccer, we'll know. Maybe that's what we need to have happen, right? Maybe that needs to be the next push. We've seen Greg Sankey get serious about basketball and baseball and softball, certainly college football. Maybe soccer is the next great push from the SEC. I don't know. I don't know what the TV people will pay for that, but that'll probably be decided. Depends on how much they're willing to pay.
Mike Griffith joins us from the AJC, DogNation.com. So we're less than 2 weeks away from Tampa being the host of the SEC Football Media Days. But I want to ask you about what's going on in Frisco, Texas today. In a matter of minutes, Brett Yormark is going to step behind the podium and give his State of the Conference address for the Big 12. How do you anticipate, just a little prediction for you, because you've been to, my goodness gracious, probably over 30 SEC media days. You've seen, you're a veteran of this. How do you think the media will treat Brett Yormark? Do you think there will be some serious questions in regards to the Sorsby mess and their relationship with Texas Tech, the Protect College Sports Act? How do you think the next 30 to 45 minutes is going to go for Brett Yormark?
Yeah, you guys are saying my fears out loud. If I never hear Brendan Sorsby's name again, that'll be fine with me. The case is done. The guy gambled. He's out. It's just, I don't know how much more we need to say about it. It's unfortunate. I hope he gets help. As far as playing in the NFL, that's for the NFL to decide at a later date and time. To me, it's out of college football. I don't want to hear any more about it. I know all about, the conference rising up and, pretty much marching him out. So do we really need to go over that again? I don't think so. As far as the bill, we know Alabama State, is taking its approach to say they don't want this. The SEC has said they don't want this. I'm not sure how many more people need to say they don't want this. Just kind of like, that's another deal where you're just like, this isn't hard. Can we just have some common sense here? This bill needs to be redone or it needs to come to an end. But we're talking about a dead issue, wasting our breath, wasting our time when we don't have time to waste. College football playoff, Yormark can say whatever he wants. It's in the SEC's hands along with the Big Ten. It's always interesting to get some color, candor comments. If there's been some movement in the NIL platform, that would be great. Sometimes, who knows, maybe we'll hear a little bit more from the College Sports Commission at these media days. Maybe they'll we got to visit with them a little bit. In Destin, I thought that was really helpful. But a lot of these issues, guys, I kind of feel like we've driven into the ground. At least I know I have. I've written about them. I've talked about them. It's time for change. There's nothing more to be said. It's either, you either make the changes or you don't. But I think everybody's tired of hearing the talk. I think people are ready for action. And so, my hope is that they'll talk some college football and get some fans excited about the programs down there and, how the Big 12 could maybe be more competitive. I think we're still waiting. Are we still? No, they did. Did they win a playoff game? Have they won a playoff game? Did Texas Tech win a playoff? I'm trying to remember. Have they won a playoff game yet?
No. Matter of fact, Alabama scored more points against Indiana than Texas Tech did in the whole college football playoff last year.
Yeah, so this is like how many years of college football? 12 or 13 years of college football playoff, and they don't have a college football playoff win? I
Correct.
think that's –
Arizona State got really close to winning one of those games a couple of years ago. Remember, that was the whole.
There you go.
Yeah, that was the whole.
Yeah. Arizona State, that's a real program. We really associate with the Big 12 there. That's pretty.
That's right. Hanging out with our friend Mike Griffith, who joins us, as all of our guests do, on the Higginbotham Hotline. We'll talk about football, seeing some of the latest publications coming out with their pick for who's going to be in the college football playoff, who's going to be playing in the championship game. I'm seeing Georgia in several of these. What should the expectations be for Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs this season?
Yeah, I just want to point out Arizona State lost to Mississippi State last year too. By the way, put these things into
that was a road game, Mike. Yeah, it was a tough road game.
Oh yeah, well Starkville, hold your breath. I would say, look, everybody knows that of late the SEC championship has gone through Georgia. 7 of the last 8 years I think Georgia's played in that game, and they've won back-to-back, which hadn't been done in a minute. They're going to be really good on defense. They've got a good offensive line. They don't necessarily have some of the most dynamic receivers and running backs, though, and that's the question. And, Gunnar Stockton, he's a solid quarterback. I think he's good enough to win with, but I don't know that he can necessarily put the team on his shoulders. So a lot of this comes down to not much margin for error. Once again, it seems like every year it's like that with Georgia. They don't have much margin for error, a lot of close games. But the defense is going to be pretty doggone good. And so, it's going to be an offense that's probably going to be careful, be calculated. Look a little bit like those Gene Stallings Alabama teams in the early 90s. You'd go, oh, my goodness, these guys, the offenses, well, they don't need offense. You can't cross the 50-yard line on them. And I kind of feel like that's what this Georgia team looks like to me. They've got a favorable schedule, I think, the way they kind of ease into the season. They do have a road trip at Arkansas. That's their first SEC game. And then they come home to play what I think is going to be a pretty salty Oklahoma team, right? So I think we'll find out more when they play the Oklahoma Sooners at Sanford Stadium.
Mike, in regards to the transfer portal, obviously we're covering Alabama and Auburn on a daily basis, and we know that Alabama had some misses in the transfer portal. Was there a couple of guys that maybe internally Georgia felt like, you know what, we got a really good shot at getting this guy to kind of help out our roster supplement? Is there anyone in particular that comes to the top of your mind that maybe just a position group that Georgia probably needed a little bit more help out of the transfer portal and they just didn't get it?
Well, I mean, you guys know they got Amaris Williams from Auburn, and he got injured. That was
right.
That it qualifies. I don't know if I'd call it a miss. I just say it's unfortunate for the kid and the program. But you wanted to get that pass rush guy. But no, I don't think so. Not really. Not that we know of, at least. A lot of these deals you don't find out about till afterward that they fell through. Like we never understood why Stetson Bennett came on TV the day after they won the national championship game and was talking about maybe not being back, right? You guys remember that whole scenario?
Yeah.
Yep.
And we were like, what the heck was that? Well, it turned out that Georgia was trying to get Caleb Williams. And Stetson thought he might be done, that Caleb Williams might be coming to Georgia, but instead USC won that bidding war. So that turned out, I was like, oh, okay, now we know the rest of the story, right? And then just a couple of years ago, you find out, well, we kind of knew there was this guy from Cal Georgia was interested in. Little did we know how good Fernando Mendoza was, but Georgia sure did know. But Indiana won that battle. So that would have kind of been a big deal if they would have got Fernando Mendoza last year. Maybe Georgia would have won the national championship. I dare say Kurt Signetti would not have. So, you never really know, who they're in the mix for. I think Isaiah Kenyon was the receiver they got out of Georgia Tech. You guys know all about Isaiah Kenyon? No? Neither did I, right? So that's their impact player, a guy from Georgia Tech that you guys don't know about.
No.
I watched the Georgia Tech game, and I wasn't thinking, oh, man, there's that Isaiah Kenyon.
Hey, listen, I remember Singleton before
Yeah,
he came.
you remember Eric Singleton.
Yeah, when Singleton went to Auburn. I remember, what he did against Georgia in that crazy overtime game.
Yeah, well, so, when you think about it, now, they got, they did a pretty good job, I thought, a couple years ago getting the running back out of Florida. I thought he was an impact player, scored like 5 touchdowns against Texas. That was pretty good. But, Kirby, they really don't go necessarily for the super flashy guys. I mean, they recruit really good guys, and they develop in them, and they like to keep their best guys. And so it's really more, plug-in positions. I don't know if Georgia can keep doing it that way, right? I think that a transfer quarterback maybe next year could be a thing. That could be. And we know they tried to get him again. Caleb Williams and Fernando Mendoza. Georgia's gone after those guys. Weren't able to get him. I think next year they got to get one. I don't know that they have a difference-making quarterback on their team. And we saw. I mean, Trinidad Chambliss was unbelievable against Georgia. If you switch quarterbacks last year, Georgia fans don't want to hear it, but Trinidad Chambliss won that battle. And I dare say you change quarterbacks, maybe Trinidad Chambliss could have led Georgia to a national title. So I think the quarterback development and the way Georgia's gone about the quarterback position, I wonder how that will work in the future. And then just as far as dynamic playmakers, I mean, George Pickens was unbelievable. Ladd McConkey was unbelievable. Brock Bowers was unbelievable. They got guys now, I don't know, how unbelievable any of them are. It's pretty believable. Like, I can see this. These guys are – I mean, can you name the Georgia receiving corps?
No.
To your point.
Does Nate Frazier roll off your tongue with Herschel Walker and DeAndre Swift and Nick Chubb?
Not yet.
No.
Not yet.
No, not at all. And this is Georgia. Like, this is your running back. Like, this is RBU, and Nate, and they talk, Nate Frazier. Well, you're the only ones talking, Georgia fans. Ain't nobody outside of Georgia scared of Nate Frazier. They're not, are they?
No.
No, but maybe we should be.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, the guys look good in spurts, but look, with that offensive line, I mean, come on. I mean, you put a future NFL back there. Georgia's role. You put a DeAndre Swift. I mean, heck, James Cook, Kenny McIntyre. Those guys, they made it happen. They've dropped off there, and that could ultimately what keeps them from winning championships is not having dynamic skill position players like some of the other SEC schools do.
That is Mike Griffith from DogNation.com. Also follow his work at the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Mike, we're almost to the end of talking season. Maybe. We're close. But we always appreciate you joining us on Tuesday, and we'll catch up with you again next week.
Thanks, Mike.
It's always great to talk college football.
Take care, Mike. Thank you so much. That is Mike Griffith. Joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Let's discuss some of the big takeaways, what Mike Griffith just told us.
Nate Frazier is now Herschel Walker.
Nate Frazier is now Herschel
what
Walker.
he's saying? Okay.
Yes. Yeah. We're going to put him already. There's going to be that fifth spot on the Mount Rushmore of SEC running backs all time. Nate Frazier. Get ready.
Yes.
And we continue. We're live from Social Taco here in Homewood. Three-man front on a Tuesday as we roll on. 10:24, welcome back in. We're live at Social Taco here in Homewood. The doors open officially at 11 o'clock. You can enjoy some of the classics like the Huevos Rancheros, the Chilaquiles, Pedro's Special, which is a mesquite grilled chicken. Of course, all the mix and match tacos, $4, any combination, as many as you desire all day long. Chicken feathers, that's a good way to start as well. Quesadillas, Mexican pizzas, burritos, salads, and so much more at Social Taco, socialtaco.bar for more information.
I am sitting here already getting some quotes from Brett Yormark, who is opening up the Big 12 Football Media Days in Frisco, Texas. He says the Big 12 was the deepest and most competitive conference last year. He also mentions last year's Big 12 title game drew more than 85,000 fans, the largest crowd of any conference title game. Well, I mean, there's pretty good reason for that because the other conference games don't play in a bigger venue.
Well, in the other conference games, as you remember, nobody was super fired up about playing those conference championship games.
I mean, Georgia and Alabama would have very easily just taken the week off. No big deal. But it was still sold out in Atlanta.
Hey, you find something positive and you put it on your billboard.
He also said that he wants the Big 12 to be the most globally relevant league in college sports. Now, they are playing some games overseas. Football is. They have canceled their basketball. Remember, they were supposed to go to Mexico.
You almost had the most polarizing league in all of sports when you had the Sorsby stuff going on.
You almost had the most wagered-on league in college sports history.
You are the only league that I can remember during a conference basketball tournament had to remove your high-definition fancy falutin floor because players couldn't keep their feet. What else you got going for you, Big 12?
So it'll be fun to see if anybody wants to step up to the table and want to ask him a tough question, and see if anyone from Lubbock, Texas wants to get into it with Yormark. Because, you listen to the radio shows out there, they got a lot of, sounds like liquid courage when they're on the air, and they want to smack the Big 12 and Brett Yormark. Let's see if any of them step to the plate and ask him a tough question today.
Who's going to be the pride of that conference? Is it going to be BYU and Texas Tech again? Is that who most people are picking? I mean, Texas Tech know that they're strong.
BYU's now the team that everyone's in love with.
Okay. Arizona State? Did they return to relevance this season? Maybe. Colorado? I hadn't heard a whole lot out of Colorado.
Pretty good reason for that.
Yep.
Probably won't hear much from them at all.
Kansas State, you replaced your coach. Kansas, you still got it going on. Yeah, should be another ho-hum year in the Big 12 as they await this bill to see if it gets passed and they can get some of the SEC's money.
He says, this is my fourth media days. I've always viewed our path forward in three phases: stabilize, build, and grow. We are now in full growth mode. One of our top priorities is to create value for our member institutions.
Okay. They're going to grow. Well, with this new bill, though, you got to look out for super conference and expansion. You got to make sure that everybody's
Yeah, I thought the
good with
bill
that.
was supposed to
stunt
suppress
growth.
I think it was supposed to suppress growth.
Yeah, that's what was my understanding. Which is part of the reason that University of Alabama and Auburn came out yesterday in a joint statement and said that they oppose the bill.
And by the way, I misspoke yesterday, and I want to apologize to the audience. The Big 12 is one of those leagues that they have decided, remember they did it last year, they will not have a preseason predicted order of finish.
Yeah.
Remember they did away with that. I said yesterday
Like
that,
the Big Ten has done, and they have all the writers that basically do it.
Yeah, the
on
Big
their
Ten,
own.
the big again, you still get the Cleveland Plain Dealer
Right.
to do theirs, and that's been the case for them for a very long time. But the Big 12, they did not want they believe that hurts their college football playoff chances. Has nothing to do with the fact that their teams aren't very good.
Oh, that's right. It's perception.
It's perception
Yeah.
because you don't want to go into it and say, well, BYU was picked 7th in the league. And so now, they're sitting there undefeated, and the college football playoff doesn't believe that BYU is a very good team.
So they had egg on their face, Pat, from a couple of years ago when Arizona State, I believe, was finished either next to last or last, and that's when they rolled into the college football playoff with Cam Scattaboo and Sam Levitt and all those other cats.
Well, you just need to embrace the fact that those in the media that we do a horrible job at predicting who's going to win the league. Because I want to remind everybody, last year Texas was picked first in the SEC. They finished 5th. Georgia was picked to finish 2nd. That was good. Bama was picked 3rd. They finished 1st in the regular season. LSU finished 10th in the league. They were predicted 4th when we were in Atlanta. So you see, you just need to embrace it. It is what it is.
It's hard to predict the order of finish, number one, when you're taking it seriously, but you have a lot of cats out there that are doing it for attention. They want to share who they voted for and why, and then some just to be different. So you have to take all of that into account when you look at all of these polls. It's tough. I've said it here on the show. We come out with a top 25. It's tough to fill 25 teams out when you're trying to be serious and take it serious and fill those in.
Well, it's just like we've been talking about the World Cup for the last 3 weeks. Let's just be completely honest. There's a lot of teams that, just like the United States, they could get into the Final 16, but how many of those Final 16 can actually win the World Cup? The same thing can say about the college football playoff. How many teams actually can run the table and win the national championship? Every year there's always a handful, maybe 4 or 5 tops.
Do you say in the United States men's national team was James Madison?
Tulane.
Okay. Thank you.
Not James Madison. They were more Tulane.
More Tulane.
We are live at Social Taco. Come on by and see us. The door's officially open at 11. Folks are already getting up here on the Taco Terrace. Hope to see you. This is 3-Man Front on Jocks. All right, so we're back here on 3-Man Front. Talked a little soccer to start things off. Disappointing night. Text line is open, 205-834-9450. Mike Griffith joined us from the AJC. We're less than 2 weeks away from SEC Football Media Days. I've been following what's been said in Frisco, Texas. This is very interesting. So Brett Yormark from the Big 12, he's giving his State of the Conference address. He announces that the Big 12 and Monster Energy have entered into a multi-year partnership. Now, Big 12 football is going to be branded Monster Energy Big 12 Football. But here's the interesting part. Monster will have conference sponsorship patches on team jerseys.
Whoa.
So they have cut a deal with Monster Energy drinks, and all Big 12 teams will now have the Monster Energy drink on their jerseys.
I hope it's not consistent with what we've seen with other branding. Because that color, that logo is not going to look good.
So off the top of my head, I'm trying to remember, have we had any announcement from a Big 12 school announcing a team sponsorship patch? Because I can't recall one.
Yes, we have. We've had Oklahoma State with the
That's
Osage
right, with
Nation.
Osage.
Yep.
So they're going to have Osage.
BYU might have one.
Osage, and then they'll have the Monster Energy drink on the other.
Wow.
So we have officially landed into NASCAR territory.
Okay, I was just looking Monster Energy, who it was launched by, and it was launched by the South Africans. South African entrepreneurs, Rodney Sachs and Hilton Schlossberg.
All right, so Brett Yormark has been asked about Brendan Sorsby's situation. He says he appreciates the question, but that today's not the time to address that issue. Oh, excuse me. You've got thousands of media, national television people watching.
Let's not do it here.
But now's not the right
do
time.
it here.
Let's have a cup of coffee down the street at Starbucks, and I'll tell you all about it.
I'll tell you how we got stuck with this deal.
What a joke.
So Monster Energy on all of the jerseys?
That's what it says.
Okay.
Monster will have conference sponsorship patches on team jerseys. That costs them a pretty penny. If you're closing out not closing out a category, since the Osage Indians are going to have their stuff on, or maybe it'll just be that. There's all sorts of.
Just the monster, like the claw.
Yeah.
Is that what that is, like claw marks?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, that'll look good. It'll be like an upside-down trident on Arizona State's uniform. So you can have the mirroring trident. Okay.
It's funny.
NASCAR is here.
Yormark was also asked if he ever supported Texas Tech's fight to get to Brendan Sorsby eligible, and then he refers back that today is not the day.
Slap that bad boy on Alabama's uniform. See how that goes on Saturday.
I think we all know how that's gonna turn out.
You think people go crazy over changing a helmet or changing a jersey?
So this is a serious question. Do you think that Brett Yormark is the P.T. Barnum of college football?
P.T. Barnum, yeah, see some similarities. Yeah, he's out there promoting. He's trying new things. P.T. Barnum was known as an innovator. He was willing to try some things. They didn't always work.
He also liked freak shows.
He did. He did enjoy a freak show. Yeah, Barnum was an interesting cat. That whole circus scene is very interesting. It's always been a little different.
Back to the Monster Energy.
Documentaries,
He says the sponsorship is going to take the conference to places it has never been before. I'm just
the winner's circle of a college football playoff game.
I just read them. I don't write them.
Let's start there. Let's start there. Let's get a non-slippery surface for our conference basketball. That would be good.
Now, according to somebody posted this, they said that this will also be the same for men's and women's basketball.
Good. Muck them all up.
Can you imagine the University of Kansas putting Monster Energy on their shirt?
That's going to look good.
Wow.
Really good.
Please be true. I mean, I have no doubt. I mean, the people that's reporting this, but now the question is:
Could you replace that money and say we don't want that patch? We've found replacement money to put something else on there.
Well, I mean,
if they brokered it at the Big 12 office, then
I mean, if you've seen the Big 12 ledgers lately, I think they're going to take any kind of money they can get their hands on.
You think Rutgers is calling, going, "Hey, how many patches can we fit on this jersey? We're running a $500 million deficit. How many can we get on there?"
Well, based on this, Oklahoma State, I mean, they're going to have at least 2.
It's going to look good.
What if Greg Sankey steps to the microphone in Tampa and the SEC has cut a deal with somebody across, just like Monster Energy drink?
But it's not like Monster Energy.
Let's say it's Quickcrete.
It's like Kleenex.
And that yellow logo that's on a Braves jersey is in on every SEC football jersey.
What if it's like Kleenex or like Lubriderm or some big pharmaceutical?
Well, it's interesting because, the University of Texas, they've already come out and said, Chris Del Conte, the athletic director, he said, we are not having anything on our jersey. Like everybody else in the league can go sell sponsorship patches, but the University of Texas will not do that. That is beneath them. That's what he said.
Well, if I had the money to keep it off my jersey, I'd do the same thing. And I don't think you're going to get a statement like that from Greg Byrne or from John Cohen. But if you're Texas and you got the money to do it and you can avoid it, do
Okay,
it.
now, okay.
A lot of fan bases would like that.
Now, so I'm reading the detail. Okay, not the details, but this I can kind of see. So, most college football jerseys, like let's take the SEC, for example. You will have the manufacturer of the jersey, Nike or Adidas, and then you'll have the SEC logo, and then perhaps you might have a sponsorship patch on the jersey. Well, I think the way that they're going to do this is they're going to probably come up with some type of new Big 12 Monster
collaboration
logo. So that will be incorporated in one logo. So you're not going to have like Nike, Big 12 logo, Monster logo, and Osage Indians logo, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I was thinking about current Monster logo and incorporating it with the Big 12 logo. Does Big 12 logo, is it XII?
Mm-hmm.
And you could do something with a clause with where the II is. Maybe you start it so you have Big 12 and you have XII, but the Monster Energy picks up on the second I and extends out.
They say this is a multi-year sponsorship. It's a co-branded Monster Energy and Big 12 logo will be featured on football and basketball jerseys, fields, and courts.
Okay. I wonder how much Monster Energy is paying for this.
I would have to say it's a pretty penny.
Well, if
you're going across basketball and football.
Let's take the private equity that bought part of Utah's athletic department at the tune of what was the rate that they paid? Was it $100 million? Was it $30 million? Somewhere in there. That Utah had the private equity that just
30 sounds a good number.
So, I'm thinking for the whole conference. That's a $100 million deal, right? At least. But whether we like it or not, there's going to be more conferences, more schools that you start seeing this, and it is where we are. So, good for Monster Energy.
Yeah, I'm getting some texts from some people just tuning in, and they were asking me if Brett Yormark had addressed the Brendan Sorsby situation, and he gave the great no comment line, basically. He says that he appreciates the question, but that today's not the time to address that
I would
issue.
ask the recouping of legal fees.
I'm sure that's coming from someone.
Somebody needs to ask that
from
one.
Ames, Iowa.
Because that's one I think
ask.
he should answer. He should absolutely answer.
Yeah. So far, the big story is Monster Energy apparently is now going to own half the Big 12 conference, and they're going to be on every jersey. Football, men's basketball, and women's basketball.
This is the SEC presented by Uggs. They pay the money. 205-834-9450. The Jocks text line is open, 800-239-WJOX. If you want to chime in, we will continue to monitor what's going on at Big 12 Media Days and so much more we'll get into. We're live at Social Taco. We're in the Terrace. Doors going to open 15 minutes from right now. Check out the menu before you arrive. They've got all kinds of great stuff to choose from. SocialTaco.bar. That is where you will find that menu. But the mix and match tacos they got on special today. Don't forget about half off happy hour. That's 3 to 6 Monday through Friday every day out on the patio and here inside in the cool AC. Three-man front live from Social Tacos. We continue on Jocks.
It is 10:49. Welcome back. We are live at Social Taco. We already heard from Mike Griffith. Coming up later in the show, John Talty, college football writer for CBS Sports. He will join the program, get his feelings on the Big 12. The big news this morning, they have worked out a deal with Monster Energy Drink. They have entered into a multi-year sponsorship agreement. Schools will have jersey patches and field logos featuring the brand. So that'll be very fascinating to get your hands on the money situation, like how much they paid for every school in the Big 12 will have the Monster Energy Drink logo.
Really cool logo that I think looks better than Monster Energy, and it's Mandu. Mandu, right there in downtown Homewood, electrical muscle stimulation fitness, all FDA approved. What you need to know about Mandu is because of the technology, a 15-minute workout, the equivalent to 6 hours in a gym. I can't explain it all, but I know it works because I've done Mandu. Damian Mitchell and so many other Jocks listeners have done Mandu as well. Downtown Homewood, convenient location, wonderful owner, Paul. He's got a great staff of trainers. They're going to take care of you. Mandu and downtown Homewood. It's not too late. Look better, feel better for the rest of the summer, for the rest of your life. MANDUU.com, MANDUU.com. Go to the website, check it out, take them up on the free visit, go through the workout, and always tell them Landrum from Jock sent you.
1-800-239-WJOX. The text line is open, 205-834-9450. If you would like to chime in on last night's disappointing loss by the United States men's national team to Belgium as they were knocked out of the World Cup. Now, no sponsored country. Mexico out, United States out, Canada out. So the three host nations all out of the tournament. Meanwhile, you've got a match that's going on in Atlanta coming up, I think, in the next 10 minutes or so as Argentina. And is it Colombia? Is that who's playing?
You do have Argentina, Colombia, and then Egypt and, goodness, who is Egypt playing? No, is it Argentina? Yeah, there's 4 teams playing today. Yeah, I think I had it right.
Actually, Argentina and Egypt is playing. It's Switzerland and Colombia.
There it is.
They're playing later this afternoon. So let's get to the text line. Some of you have already thrown some opinions in there on a myriad of topics we've been discussing so far.
Yeah, this one rolling in. Steve from Tuscaloosa asked, my question about the Monster Energy Big 12 patch on the uniforms is what does BYU think about this sponsorship? Because Mormons don't drink caffeinated beverages. That is an outstanding question, Steve. Not really sure how that's going to go over. I will hold back because there's something else there concerning BYU as well, but maybe another day. Cigar Cowboy saying maybe I'll drive to Brazil and be able to report to you for the Women's World Cup.
That would be
he
great.
He reported live from Auburn, gave us a great breakdown of what was going on inside of Jordan Hare when Argentina took on Iceland.
All right. Speaking of that, Ben Portnoy from Sports Business Journal, who was just on the program last week, matter of fact, he is reporting that the Monster deal will pay Big 12 schools around $1 million annually and won't preclude members from selling their own patch opposite this one. So whatever Oklahoma State's getting for the Osage tribal commitment on their jersey, they'll get another $1 million because of Monster Energy.
That's great, I guess, if you don't mind a bunch of patches on your jersey. Going back to why the United States men's soccer has not enjoyed more success in its history. This one rolls in Germany. If you're a 16-year-old soccer prodigy, you get paid like a club player. In the U.S., same kid has to pay upwards of $15,000 to belong. Priorities? Question mark. Thank you for that.
Well, I will say this. So Pochettino, he is being paid 3 times the amount that Greg Berhalter was being paid. Berhalter was getting paid $2 million a year as the head coach of U.S. men's national team. Pochettino currently is making $6 million a year.
Yeah.
$6 million. Now, United States men's and women's national teams, they are not funded nationally by any type of United States whatever. They're all independent.
Right.
And you had 2 billionaires to step up and say, hey, we will pay Pochettino $6 million. And so, they've had an extension on the table. Now, the rumor is that he's gone. After the game last night, he did not comment, did not give a lot of fuzzy, I'm coming back type deals. And the general feeling is that this was kind of a holdover spot for him, that he's going to go back and perhaps coach in the Premier League, and the United States are going to go after a European head coach. That's what they wanted to begin with, because they understand that the power at this level is with the European teams. And so, but they settled for Pochettino, who did a great job. But word is that he potentially is going to go on back to the pros, and the United States then will go after a European.
They're still Belgium's coach.
You like Rudy Garcia?
I think he's done a pretty good job so far. Last time I checked, they're still alive. They looked ready to play last night. More three-man front as we roll on live from Social Taco. We keep you updated what's going on, Big 12 Media Days, John Talty, and so much more. Three-man front on this Tuesday. Glad you're with us.